bunch. I remember. He liked it with Burmaz too, I think. It was in that deck. Excuse me. Mountain coming down for Bill. Go figure. He is the mono red player. Makes sense that his land drops would be mountains. He drew a bunch of lands last game that we saw, and a bunch of this game also. Last game being the last match he played against Carter in the last round. But yeah, he's already up to 5 lands, and he plays like, I think he plays 20 or maybe 19. So it's really, really rough to see the mono red player get that many lands. He's going to say that one can't block. And those goblins are gigantic. Ornithopter's going to chump, putting David down to 11. Hangerback's going to pump itself. No Chief of the Foundry to help. Bill is grinding him out a little bit. This is the last round of our standard tournament, along with the modern tournament. After this, I'm not sure if it'll be top 8 or cut to Swiss, as there were not many players in each this week. We still had a high number of players. But I'm seeing right now what's going to happen. I'm going to find out from the TO really quick. See if we're going to have a cut to Swiss or if we're going to cut the top 8, top 4, etc. As I do not know. Thopter Engineer is going to make a token after 2 get through, putting Bill down to 14. It looks like each is going to have a top 4. And that works out pretty well, as this month's F&M promo is pretty sought after, I feel. It's a pretty good card. It sees a lot of play in Modern. Serum Visions. So yeah, I think it was like $10 to $12 before it was announced as an F&M promo. So now that it's actually the F&M promo, well, it's exciting to see what's going to happen to the price of the card, along with the availability to players who might not have had them, whether their store just didn't have cards from then. You know, the card is just impossible to find in their area altogether with players and everything. There are certainly cards like that. Pretty much anything from Cold Snap in this area is really hard to find. To give you an example of something like that. Same with like the original Ravnica set. But like Guild Pact and the other one, Dissension, they were both okay though. So David Black is staring down an Obelisk of Erd on Goblins. He's at 5 life. He's seeing if he can possibly stabilize and or win this turn. It's not out of the question, I feel, especially with a military intelligence. If he tops a Shrapnel Blast, he could be in a like a really, really good position here. Because he can attack with team. And see what he drew. He drew a Darksteel. That's not great. It's another land though, and he might have needed that land. He does play the Darksteel Citadel, and now he's going back to the grip, thinking about what he wants to do. Phyrexian Revoker coming down, and with that he'll probably name Foundry of the Councils, as it looks like Bill has one of those in play. Assuming he noticed the Foundry of the Councils in play. He might name like Chandra, Pyromaster, Chandra Fires of Kaldesh. There might be a goblin that I'm not thinking of that might be good to name. And Bill's just going to swing team. Like, he's in no hurting at all. Assuming... Oh. Let's see. So David's going to block. Looks like he might throw one on each of those. And it looks like we're going to have, in case I didn't say it, we're going to have a top 4 in each tournament. So that's going to be pretty cool. It might be a top 4 split. Oh, the enchantment, in case you were wondering, is a military intelligence. For those of you who do not know, it's 1 in a blue, and it says whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures, draw a card. It's from M15, and it's an uncommon, I believe. And it hasn't really saw a ton of play before actually just hasn't saw a ton of play ever, and it's a pretty okay card. Like, I mean, in an aggro deck, it's pretty good. That's weird. All right, so David's gonna lose a bunch of cards and go down to 2. Oh, well, actually, I think that's what Bill actually was at. Yep. So David's gonna go to 2. He's gonna look at his card for turn after a Dragon Fodder's played to get Bill 2 more 3/3 goblins. The Menacing Goblins. David does still get a trigger off the military intel too, so he's not necessarily out of it. If he draws double shrapnel, it's lethal. And that was a red card he drew. I couldn't tell if it was Shrapnel Blast or not, though. Ornithopter comes down, which is completely fine. I think you have to swing in with both of the Thopters to put Bill down to 10 and draw a card that was not a Shrapnel Blast. So I think that that is lethal for Bill. Ten to 2 in favor of Bill, who's at the top of your screen piloting Goblins, and at the bottom of your screen is David Black playing Blue-Red Artifacts. It plays similar, not even close to the same speed, but similar to Affinity. With just a bunch of very quick aggro type creatures with a lot of equipment and stuff. And David's about to pass, I think. Nope. Still thinking. Ah, get out of here, pen. I don't want you in my ear anyways. And I think Bill just had lethal that game, and David conceded because he realized. So, we're going to go to game 2. David should be on the play. This is the last round of the Magic tournament today for Modern and Standard. This will be the last Swiss game we feature. If top 4 plays it out, we'll get one of the top 4 games on, I believe. But yeah, this was a pretty slow day for Hometown. So it looks like it was a slow day in Twitch also for us, but that's alright. Thank you to each and every one of you who stuck with us through the night. There was a little snafu around 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. I guess, where Twitch just was not working for us and kept disconnecting us and reconnecting us. But yeah, Blaze Rider, I agree. It is a pretty good deck, or card for the deck. Military Intelligence is pretty good. But yeah, it's a pretty slow day, but also we still have tier 1 decks, as you see. Even with the low number of players, it's always like impressive decks that we get to watch battle. As we finally get to see, I didn't get to watch too much coverage this past week because I work usually when the coverage happens and I can't really watch it. So I didn't get to watch too much coverage, so I don't know if Goblins made a splash anywhere over the past couple weeks, but this is the first time I've got to see the deck played, and I love it. I think it looks awesome. Like, even though Bill lost the first round, he drew a lot of lands. Carter did have the actual die move against him in Soulfire Grandmaster. Soulfire Grandmaster is unreal good. Especially when you can bounce it back. Jeskai Charm, like, it shows you why that deck is the tier 1 deck. But that being said, I like the way Goblins look. It might not be a tier 1 deck. It might be more of a, I don't even know, like a tier 2 type of deck. But even if it is, it's still a deck that I think could absolutely see play right now. And it is fast, as you saw. It is fast and gets to play something like, wow. I just completely blanked. Well, I will say we haven't been able to see a Goblin Rabble Master yet, which would be unreal. I assume Bill's playing it. Yeah. He only plays like 20 lands, and we've seen him have 6 or more lands in play every game that we've seen him play. So... Both players pile shuffling, and I believe that David Black will be on the play. Whoever's on the play will have been the loser of that last game. I am almost positive that David lost that to the overwhelming Goblin invasion that Bill brought. Some quick shuffles to finish it up. And yeah, there's not a ton of closer events coming up these next few weeks. The closest one for us is Grand Prix Detroit, which is team limited next week. And I know a handful of the players from this area are going. Like Matt and Christina, the store owner and his wife, who both of them are incredibly good at Magic. It's unreal. And I think we have a player, Dave Snow, is going to go from this area. I'm not sure if anybody else, though. Because it's team limited, you do need a three-player team, so you want to make sure that you have 3 good friends that you like to play Magic with and enjoy spending a day, and a very long day spending time with them all day, pretty much. We're going to see a turn 1 Ghostfire Blade into a turn 1 Goblin Glory Chaser, and if David doesn't have an Ornithopter, well, he would have played an Ornithopter last turn, certainly. If he doesn't have a creature, there's going to be trouble for him. Yep, that's going to put him to 19, followed by a Dragon Fodder, I believe. So we're going to see him go to 19. It's going to get a counter. Now it's Menacing. Maniacal Laugh. Menacing Laugh. And we're going to follow it up with Foundry Street Denizen, it looks like. There is a glare, but I'm pretty sure that's a Foundry Street. And so artifact on the Ghostfire Blade, well, that's different. You can equip your creature with a 5/5 creature. We're going to see an attack of 5, knock Bill down to 15 here. And he's going to Wild Slash David at the end of turn, putting him down to 17, and Bill is on the racing game. Whether or not, this is going to be a fast game, regardless of who wins. So if Bill has a Hordling Outburst or a Dragon Fodder, which he does, he's going to get in there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knocking David down to 12. And he still has not a Rabble Master, a Pile Driver in hand. We still haven't seen a Rabble Master, which I'm going to have to ask Bill next time I see him if he plays it, which I assume he... Wow. Another Insult Artifact comes down on the he's going to double block. Yeah, Insult on the Citadel on the Indestructible is pretty good. Looks like a Frenzy Goblin. Or a, not a Frenzy Goblin, the Frounder Street. So we're going to swing another 5, knocking David down to 7. So 15-7 in favor of Bill here with Goblins, and he did get the first game, so if Bill gets this one, it's going to be match. David's going to probably just keep the pressure up and attack with both, in which case he would lose to like a Dragon Fodder Wild Slash with a land play, but I think that it's worth it to try to just push in the damage and bluff a Shrapnel Blast almost, because Bill either says you have to have it, or if you have the Shrapnel Blast, you absolutely win. He can just double block, or not double block, but chump block with each of his creatures, so he's just going to get in with the Ghostfire Blade, it looks like. He might just play it safe and swing in with 1, get in some chip damage, because, you know, that's the lame stuff when you chip somebody out. Thanks to everybody watching. This is Kenny from Hometown Hobbies, and we're streaming Standard right now. It's been Standard and Modern all night. But right now we're on the Standard kick, and Bill draws a land into a Hordling Outburst, and that's going to make that Foundry Street huge. It's going to be chump blocked, and he's going to take 4 down to 3. He'll win on the swing back. So Bill, oh no, he gets 3 1/1 tokens. He actually gets a swing all out, and put David to 3. This is not good for David, I don't think. We're going to see what happens here. Stubborn Denial. Oh, there it is. That's a pretty interesting one. It's just a hard counter spell in this deck. So